working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Good evening, I'm Alma Angeles. You're watching ASEAN in Focus on tonight's headlines. A significant announcement from Indonesia's President Joko Widodo has made a solemn promise to address the pain inflicted by serious human rights violations during the country's dictatorship years. In another significant development, a U.S. aircraft carrier has arrived in the central Vietnamese city of Da Nang. The arrival of the USS Ronald Reagan comes after recent tensions between Vietnam and China over Chinese vessels navigating in Vietnamese waters. And this visit coincides with the commemoration of the 10th anniversary of the comprehensive partnership between the U.S. and Vietnam.
By using certain software,
and we turn our attention to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources in their groundbreaking efforts to utilize geospatial mapping for crucial climate mitigation measures. Their newly established Geospatial Database Office, or GDO, will employ cutting-edge software and satellite imagery to compute carbon credits and identify untapped natural resources. And later, we've got some exciting news from Hollywood today. Rising star David Corenswet is set to don Superman's iconic red cape in the upcoming film Superman Legacy, as confirmed by director James Gunn earlier today. We start off with a significant announcement from Indonesia's President Joko Widodo, who made a solemn promise to address the pain inflicted by serious human rights violations during the country's dictatorship years. In a heartfelt address, President Widodo emphasized the urgent need to heal the deep wounds caused by past gross human rights violations. Speaking yesterday in the northwestern province of Aceh, he said this resolution is needed to heal the nation's pain caused by past gross human rights violations, which have left a heavy burden for the victims. The president made these remarks during a solemn ceremony in Pidi, a location previously used by the military for torturing civilians. The area, which witnessed a nearly 3-decade-long insurgency ending in 2005, was also marred by 3 recorded mass killings, claiming the lives of numerous individuals. Now, earlier this year, President Widodo expressed deep regret for a dozen state-orchestrated mass human rights violations committed in Indonesia's history. These violations include the tragic anti-communist purge in the 1960s, where 500,000 leftists were massacred. Compensation, however, was just a part of the healing process. President Widodo recognized that true reconciliation required more than monetary redress. He introduced initiatives to ensure the affected families received support in their journey towards rebuilding their lives. Programs focusing on education, healthcare, and economic empowerment were put into place, aiming to uplift these communities and provide them with the tools needed to thrive once again. And staying in Indonesia, where Japanese Emperor Naruhito embarked on his first official foreign trip since ascending the chrysanthemum throne in 2019. This week, the historic meeting took place between Japanese Emperor Naruhito and Indonesian President Joko Widodo, underscoring the strengthening ties between the two nations. President Widodo, accompanied by his First Lady, Iriana, extended a warm welcome to the imperial couple at the Bogor Presidential Palace. Emperor Naruhito expressed his appreciation for Indonesia's rich culture and its people, sharing that his visit allowed him and Empress Masako to deepen their understanding of the nation while reflecting on its history. Before departing Japan, Emperor Naruhito emphasized the significance of collaborating with developing nations to address global challenges such as climate change, energy, and food security. This visit coincides with the 50th anniversary of the friendship between Japan and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, as Indonesia serves as the ASEAN chair this year. Notably, Japan is the largest provider of official development assistance to Indonesia, as confirmed by Japan's foreign ministry. Emperor Naruhito, at 63 years of age, holds the distinction of being Japan's first emperor born after World War II, a war fought under the name of his grandfather, Emperor Hirohito. In another significant development, a U.S. aircraft carrier has arrived in the central Vietnamese city of Da Nang. The arrival of the USS Ronald Reagan comes after recent tensions between Vietnam and China over Chinese vessels navigating in Vietnamese waters. Now, this visit coincides with the commemoration of the 10th anniversary of the comprehensive partnership between the U.S. and Vietnam. The USS Ronald Reagan, a key asset of the U.S. 7th Fleet dedicated to upholding a free and open Indo-Pacific region, was accompanied by two escort ships, namely the guided missile cruisers USS Antietam and USS Robert Smalls, according to a statement from the American Embassy in Hanoi. In a brief statement, Joe Kelly, spokesperson of the U.S. Navy's Carrier Strike Group 5, highlighted the purpose of their presence in the region.
We're in this region providing peace, security, and stability in this region, and a big part of that is working closely with our allies and partners. And that means through port visits like the one we're having, where we can continue engagements with both the government and the military and get to meet face to face, talk about the mutual issues that we face in this region. But I think our operations were in the South China Sea and throughout the region as we transited from Japan at the end of May, and all our engagements and operations, we work with our allies throughout different bodies of water, from the Philippine Sea to the South China Sea, prior to arriving here. But all our interactions with the PRC directly were routine.
Now, this event unfolds against the backdrop of increasingly close trade ties between Vietnam and the U.S., as well as their shared concerns over China's expanding influence in the region. Just weeks ago, tensions escalated when a Chinese survey vessel accompanied by Coast Guard ships and fishing boats remained in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone in the South China Sea. Vietnam's foreign ministry issued a demand for their departure, which was eventually complied with in early June. China asserts its territorial claims over most of the resource-rich South China Sea, despite conflicting claims from neighboring countries such as Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia. In other news, a Romanian man accused of being a ringleader in a people smuggling operation has pleaded guilty to the manslaughter of 39 Vietnamese migrants. The victims tragically lost their lives after being found dead in a lorry in southeast England. Marius Mihai Dragici, age 50, was apprehended by Romanian authorities in August 2022. He faced charges of 39 counts of manslaughter and conspiracy to assist unlawful immigration, as brought forward by British prosecutors. And today, Dragici appeared in London's Old Bailey Court and entered a guilty plea for the charges against him. A date for his sentencing is yet to be determined. Now, these Vietnamese migrants, including two 15-year-old boys, suffered a horrifying fate inside the sealed container of the truck. They suffocated while being transported with hopes of starting new lives in Britain. Now, this case sheds a distressing light on the extreme measures migrants undertake to reach the UK and the unscrupulous gangs that exploit their desperation. Reports indicate that each victim paid a substantial sum of up to $16,500 or 13,000 pounds to be smuggled into the country. We now turn our attention to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources and their groundbreaking efforts to utilize geospatial mapping for crucial climate mitigation measures. Their newly established Geospatial Database Office, or GDO, will employ cutting-edge software and satellite imagery to compute carbon credits and identify untapped natural resources. Secretary Antonio Yulo Loizaga, leading the charge at DENR, highlighted the GDO GDO's capabilities, emphasizing its role in calculating carbon credits based on specific tree species and forest covers. Take a look.
By using certain software, we can also anticipate how much carbon, for example, ang pwedeng ma-sequester given the species na nandiyan dyan sa different forest covers. So, in terms of climate change and disasters, talaga po yung forests are kailangan po.
The DENR aims to assess the contribution of the country's mangrove forests and seagrass in absorbing carbon dioxide emissions. The World Bank defines one carbon credit as equivalent to 1 ton of reduced greenhouse gas emissions expressed in tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. These credits can be sold to aid parties in achieving their greenhouse gas reduction goals.
So in terms of our own targets at DNR, we want to do 2 million hectares as a priority. Ang 1 million na po yan have been mapped adequately, and we can actually already show these to local decision makers as well as private sector, community-based forestry and management groups to say dito po sana ang priority natin.
Geospatial mapping is also a powerful tool for identifying forest lands in need of urgent attention. With only 7 million hectares of the country's total 15 million hectares of forest lands currently maintaining forest cover, reforestation efforts take precedence in addressing climate change.
What we're able to do now is design our infrastructure angkop dun sa rainfall change na ina-anticipate ng mga scientists.
Furthermore, the GDO scope extends beyond carbon credits and reforestation. It plays a pivotal role in identifying areas that can serve as additional water supply sources and forecasting regions likely to experience changes in rainfall patterns due to climate change.
Malaking bagay po ang interface namin sa Philippine Space Agency. Ang pinaka, I think, mahal, no, in terms of yung ginagamit is the use of the satellite imagery, kung paano siya iproprocure. But because we have a Philippine Space Agency, nagagamit po namin yung anong meron nila sila.
Now, yesterday, PAGASA issued a warning that several provinces across the country may soon face a dry spell due to the looming El Nino phenomenon. According to PAGASA's weather specialist, Rusi Abastillas, 36 provinces, particularly in Luzon, are expected to experience a dry spell, while 28 provinces, mostly in Mindanao, will face dry conditions. Let's listen in.
Latest natin na forecast from July to December, we have assessed or analyzed the potential areas for dry spell, dry condition, and drought at the end of December. Dry condition for Luzon, we have 3. For Luzon, we have Abra, Batanes, and Cagayan. For Visayas, we have 5. Negros Oriental and Occidental, Bohol, Cebu, and Siquijor, and then we have 20 sa Mindanao. So all in all, we have 28 provinces na could a potential for dry condition. And for dry spell naman, we have 32 dito sa Luzon, itong mga kulay orange. So these are from Abra down to Catanduanes. In-expect natin 32 provinces for dry spell and 4 na areas or provinces sa Visayas dito sa area ng Panay Island and including Guimaras and also Leyte. And then wala tayo sa Mindanao. And for drought, we have only 1 Camarines Norte and also Southern Leyte. Ang ini-expect natin na pwede siya magkaroon ng drought based doon sa 5 consecutive months niya na below normal rainfall at October. Pero at the end of October, meron tayong 4 na probinsya doon sa Caraga, which is potential for dry spell at the end of October. These are the provinces: Agusan del Norte, Dinagat Island, Surigao del Norte, and Surigao del Sur.
Now, PAGASA is closely monitoring the situation and is set to release an El Nino advisory by July. While the effects of El Nino may also reach Metro Manila, further investigation and analysis are still required to determine the extent of its impact. Bastillas mentioned that if the dry spell occurs, Metro Manila could witness reduced rainfall for 3 months, followed by an extended period of dry spell. Pag-asa said the consequences of El Niño's extend beyond lower rainfall, with potential impacts on agriculture, which heavily relies on adequate rainfall. The DTI and ASEAN USAID collaborate to support MSMEs with a new web page. The Department of Trade and Industry and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, United States Agency for International Development, have launched a one-stop webpage to help entrepreneurs future-proof their micro, small, and medium enterprises. Now, the webpage, called Business Continuity and Resiliency, or BCR, is an addition to the e-learning platform and provides access to modules, webinars, communities of practice, and resources on BCR. This initiative aims to support MSMEs in their post-pandemic economic recovery and transportation or transformation. A roadshow in Cebu City introduced over 200 MSME participants to the Academy's courses on BCR planning. The online platform offers these courses in multiple languages, including English, Vietnamese, Thai, and Bahasa Indonesia. DTI Central Visayas Regional Director Maria Elena Arben expressed gratitude to their partners for bringing the roadshow closer to MSMEs in Cebu. President Marcos Jr. voiced his confidence on envisioning the Philippines as the forthcoming tourism powerhouse of Asia in the coming years. The momentous occasion took place at the Manila Hotel, where the President witnessed the unveiling of the country's fresh tourism slogan, "Love the Philippines," during the Department of Tourism's commemoration of its 50th anniversary. In a significant keynote address, the President wholeheartedly pledged his dedication to propelling the tourism sector forward. Take a look.
For the Philippines. And what better way to express that love than by directly incorporating it into our country's newest tourism campaign slogan, "Love the Philippines." This is new branding which we unveiled today. It will serve as our guidepost for the Philippine tourism industry moving forward. Allow me then to express my sincere appreciation to Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco and for the DOT team. Because aside from the promotion of the country's tourist destination, the campaign that you have conceptualized aims to enhance the overall experience of every traveler.
President Marcos Jr. granted his approval to the National Tourism Development Plan, the 2023 to 2028 in May, serving as the administration's comprehensive blueprint and development framework for the tourism industry. The NTDP sets forth ambitious targets under the leadership of President Marcos.
The 5-year plan stemmed from this administration's determination to implement programs that will positively transform our country towards being a tourism powerhouse in Asia in the coming years. Let us therefore strive to translate our golden vision into reality.
Speaking about the NTDP 2023 to 2028, the President emphasized its pivotal role in promoting local products and implementing essential structure projects. These initiatives aim to enhance the overall travel experience, ensuring seamless and convenient journeys for both domestic and international visitors. President Marcos commended the Department of Tourism for its pivotal role in transforming the tourism industry into a significant catalyst for economic growth.
I'm happy to see the latest data on the status of our tourism sector. We continue to see improving figures in tourism revenues, employment, international arrivals, and domestic trips. All of these are encouraging signs that the tourism industry in our country as a whole is headed well towards full recovery. It also conveys a strong message to the world that we are ready and fully equipped to welcome tourists, travelers, as well as investors.
And tonight we've got some exciting news from Hollywood. Rising star David Corenswet is set to don Superman's iconic red cape in the upcoming film Superman Legacy, as confirmed by director James Gunn earlier today. Colin Sweat, known for his lead role in the popular Netflix series Hollywood, will be taking on the highly coveted role of Superman in the Warner Brothers production, scheduled for release in 2025. This announcement was initially reported by various Hollywood trade publications, which also revealed that Rachel Brosnahan, the talented star of the Emmy-winning comedy The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, is set to portray the fearless reporter Lois Lane. Director James Gunn expressed his enthusiasm about the casting, stating, "Accurate, they are not only both incredible actors, but also wonderful people." He retweeted an article from The Hollywood Reporter confirming the news. As one of the most iconic characters in pop culture, the role of Superman carries significant weight and scrutiny in the entertainment industry. Previous actors who donned the famous cape include Christopher Reeves, Brandon Routh, and most recently, Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill, known for his portrayal of Superman in films like Man of Steel, briefly reprised the role for a post-credits scene in last year's Black Adam. However, Warner Brothers, under new leadership following its merger with Discovery, placed director James Gunn, known for his works on Guardians of the Galaxy, in charge of all DC comic superhero movies. Together with producer Peter Safran of Aquaman fame, they have been tasked with revitalizing the DC film franchise. David Corenswet has an impressive resume with notable credits including Netflix series The Politician, the HBO drama We Own the City, and the horror film Pearl. As my usual habit, I'd like to end the day on a positive note. Let's encourage and build each other up so that no one is left behind. And that's it for tonight's broadcast. I'm Alma Angeles. Stay in the news because we live in extraordinary times. Good night.